Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of another movie review live. I need to like have a title for this, but how's it going, guys? I'm Chase Lee. I'm here to review Amy. This is the Amy Winehouse documentary, and of course, this is live. So if you're watching live, which no one ever does, you can comment in the place right below my face, and you can ask me questions about the movie, or just if you want to troll me, then I will troll back. So just be prepared. The music that you heard in the intro will be the intro music I will play from now on, and it's actually one of my friends' band, Fervent Roze. So if you'd like to hear more of their music and stuff, link will be in the description below. So let's get this started, guys. Amy. Oh boy, I might get a lot of hate off of this one. I don't think this is a bad documentary by any means. Now listen, I'm not like an Amy Winehouse fan, never was. So going into this, I was a little skeptical. I was like, oh man, I really don't want to sit through this, and I was kind of right. If you are an Amy Winehouse fan, you will probably enjoy this movie. You probably will. But if you are not, this might seem repetitive, boring, and way damn long. And that's just coming from the truth, man. The documentary is 2 hours long. That's a long documentary. That's longer than most feature films. And so, like, some parts were interesting, but in some parts it's like it carries on too long. It's like you could have cut some stuff out and you could have condensed it a little bit. Because essentially this documentary is just her life and how she became big in the music world, and she started selling a lot of records, started becoming more famous, and then she started going into the pitfalls of drugs and depression and stuff, and then eventually she died from, I think it was alcohol overdose or drug overdose or something, and that's basically it, and the movie just ends. Like I said, it's gonna sound really awful. I'm going to sound like an awful person. It's not the best documentary I've seen all year at all. Like, I saw like 5 of them during the Dallas International Film Festival that were way more intriguing. And it's, like I said, it's really hard to review documentaries because you can't review it on the acting because it's real life people. You can just kind of review it on the way it's put together and if the subject matter is interesting. So let's just break it down. So as far as the directing goes, I think the directing it's well executed. Like, he has his points on where he wants to go with the story of Amy Winehouse and how he wants to kind of weave it and show like her succeeding in some parts and immediately going into her pitfall and then succeeding again and going back to a pitfall leading into her demise. It was kind of like a roller coaster of life for her. And, Amy Winehouse was in her 20s when she died. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm 25. Like, she was around my age. Like, she just couldn't handle the fame, and that's the kind of story that this portrays. Is the typical story where you hear like when people get up high in the rankings or whatever in life, if they're famous or they just got a lot of money or whatever, sometimes drugs come into play or alcohol comes into play because they don't feel fulfilled in life, or they feel really depressed about something. Something inside of them is holding them back and really taking control of them. And people have no idea how to fix it or how to help her. Sorry, that was my phone. So, the movie basically just plays from her career. It's just her career and her ups and downs, her marriage, her drug use, and then it just ends with her dying. And like I said, I know it sounds bad, but it seemed a little boring to me. There was really nothing new I understood from her. Like, I never looked into Amy Winehouse. I was going into this fresh and pretty much experiencing everything that they told in front of us. And they made some people look good, made some people look bad. It's a really heartbreaking story. So I'm not discrediting that. It's a very heartbreaking story to see someone that young get a hold of, fame, and they just can't handle it. So they turn to drugs and alcohol to eventually kill themselves. So I realize it's a heartbreaking story. I kind of wanted more of something interesting and then less of the movie in general. Because like I said, it's 2 hours long. Documentary should not be that long unless it's like some extensive thing that was like an event in time or something, and you need that a lot of time to tell that story. This is just her life. So if you would have trimmed it down, shaved like 20, 30 minutes off, it probably would have been a tighter movie. It's just some parts were dragging. They were a little too slow, and it was very repetitive, like I said. So, I mean, there's really nothing more to say. It's just basically her life. It's like if you went to her funeral and they showed this movie. It's basically a compilation of home videos strung together with some voiceover. I did like that, however. In a typical documentary, you have a talking head, kind of like this, like where it's at like an angle or whatever, and they're kind of looking off to the producer answering questions, wherever you'll have like the lower third of who they are and how they are involved in said subject's life or whatever. You actually don't see any talking heads except for like twice. The most of the time it's powered through a VO, voiceover. So I actually kind of like that. And every time when someone new would speak, a lower third would kind of pop up to just show you who it is real fast and fade out. I thought it was kind of clever. Not all documentaries need talking heads. You can do something like that where it's like a pure voiceover. It's something fresh, and it kind of engages you into the movie so much and not taking you out. Amy Winehouse or her performances or the way the story is told and everything. It's kind of just the underbelly of what you're watching, instead of cutting to the talking head, cutting back to the story, talking head, boom, boom, boom. It's all like one, and it feels like one fluid thing. Just for me personally, as someone that was not a fan of Amy Winehouse, it's a little too long, a little too boring. I just wish there was something new. They kind of spun around her instead of just a typical, young girl that goes into fame and she turns to drugs and alcohol. Like I said, not discrediting it. It's a very tragic story, and someone should never die that young ever. And in the documentary, I just wish someone would help her. It was almost frustrating to watch because it's like I just wish someone would have helped her, and she probably would have been one of the best because she won a Grammy for her album, as stated in the documentary. So it's like, where would she be at? Now, like she died almost 5 years ago, so it's like, would she be like helped, or would she get rehab and come out stronger? Like, I don't know. So, listening to the movie, listening to it, right? Because I actually found the score and her music to be like the strongest parts of the movie. I love the score. It really enhanced the sections of that film it was scoring. It felt like a real life feature film, and I really enjoyed it. I felt like I was watching a fictional character instead of a real person. And then, of course, listening to Winehouse's voice and songs and stuff, I thought it was really intriguing, and I actually liked a couple of songs. I'm not going to lie. So, as someone that was not a fan of her initially, I dug some of the songs, and they were very powerful stuff, and she's a very authentic artist, that doesn't, sing about big booty bitches the entire time, and she's actually really authentic with her vocals and authentic with her lyrics, and she really comes from life experiences, really putting her demons on the page, and that is what was heartbreaking because you could see it in her music, and then ultimately led to her demise. So overall, it's a good documentary, but it's not my favorite documentary of the year. But I'm not gonna rate it rotten. I think I'm just gonna barely skim over the rotten and do 6 out of 10 for Amy. It's not my favorite, like I said. It's a little too long, a little too boring. Trim that down. So as a non-fan, that's what I have to say. But as a fan of Amy Winehouse, which I was in a theater filled to the brim with those people, they really liked it. So I think if you're a fan of her, you'll really enjoy this documentary. And if you're not a non-fan, just know that it might be a little too long, a little too boring for your taste. But other than that, I still enjoyed it. So 6 out of 10 for Amy, the Amy Winehouse documentary. So have you seen Amy? If you have or even heard of it, comment that place up on my face and let me know. And as always, thanks for watching Real Reviews. I'm Chase Lee, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. See you guys later. I'm going to play my outro music. You guys ready for it? All right, here we go. That's some good shit. See you guys later.